Welcome back. Well, we have Jeff Parker here. Hello, happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you. Got some interesting news coming up.
Yeah, and you guys are going to be very busy this weekend with the second doses of vaccine, which is great. But before we do that, let's go ahead and talk about some COVID stuff.
We'll talk about COVID numbers.
Okay.
Again, trending in the right direction, which is the key, and I'll talk about what that means relative to Orange County and us in particular. Number of cases down to 174. That's probably one of the lowest numbers we've seen in a while. We still obviously want to get it lower, but that's again 12,000 people being tested and only 174 being positive. That's really good news. Obviously the negative news is whenever you see deaths in Orange County, 29 residents in the normal living facility, and then 11 that were in the skilled nursing or assisted living. So those numbers are still pretty high, and obviously we don't like to see that anywhere.
Yeah.
The ICU numbers and hospitalization numbers continue to trend downward. ICU down into 160. That's a good number. We were at 190 earlier in the week, so that's good. And so 515, we were at 577. So again, trending in the right direction with both of the hospitals, which is really, really important as we've talked about. So I'm really glad to see that all of the counties seem to be trending that way, which is good news. Relative to Laguna Woods, we saw, again, just a small uptick in our numbers. We're up at 396 now. But we saw a jump, unfortunately, in that same category that we don't want to see is in deaths for the community of Laguna Woods, not just us. We went from 28 to 32 in that time period. So that's 4 additional people, unfortunately, passing away. Which is, again, one of the most unfortunate things of this COVID, and talking about last week and the president making the somber announcement over 500,000 people in the United States have passed away. It's very, very serious and concerning.
Well, it was. I mean, and we still are, because we haven't had, the number or the majority of the people that they're looking for to vaccinate. Interestingly, I looked it up the other day, and COVID, the number 3rd cause of death. So that's too bad.
It's scary.
It really is, yeah. 11.9.
Yeah, and
that's big.
That's the good news that I have, because Orange County is now below 14% and is trending downward rather quickly. And obviously, we want to get into the red tier and the orange tier eventually. But because we've reached the area of getting below 14%, and they see the trend obviously going in that direction as well. The governor's office released in Orange County announced that as of today, if putting in operations, that the operations can move into more flexibility in some of our programs. So we're evaluating right now expanding some of our outdoor programs. We've always talked about pickleball and that type of thing, but there's still, the important thing, there's a lot of regulations still, but you'll be able to do some of these additional activities. But again, you're going to have to wear a mask, you're going to have consent forms, all of those type of things. So today and on Monday, our staff is going to be working on all of that information and all of that paperwork that we need to have. So we're anticipating that next week, mid next week to the end of next week, we'll be able to expand some of our outdoor programs and provide that option again to our residents, because we're dropping below that 14.
Yeah, well, that's great.
For people who have kids, grandkids, especially for people that live in the village, their grandkids are now going to be able to play outdoor sports, more activities at their high school and programs like that. And that starts today as well in Orange County, as long as they stay under that 14%, which is 11.9 now, and certainly trending in the right direction.
That's great. And let me just ask, in regards to pickleball and some of the other sports that will be opening up here in the village, I'm assuming it's going back to those same parameters that we had before the second shutdown.
Mostly. The only difference that in the paperwork that we've seen is that there is going to be a release form that's required for some activities that you have to do. So we're evaluating that and see how we're going to implement that with regards to our operations here. But wearing the mask, social distancing, but you'll be able to use the activity. And that's really what's important. People want to get out there, but they're still going to be required to
do like a
have the mass
Yeah.
social distancing
Right.
and all of that activity.
Well, I went and had my hair cut not too long ago at a salon, and they make you sign, just
Right.
sign your name and put your phone number, and they take your temperature just to make sure,
very
and
similar to
yet
that.
you're agreeing that you haven't been exposed and that kind of thing. So, I mean, it shouldn't be too difficult for people to be able to do that. Is that what you're talking about
Right,
in terms
and
of
we're
consent?
working on that form right now and
Okay.
making sure that that gets all set and ready to go, and then we can move forward next week with getting
Right.
our reservations going and that activity.
Good news. We're getting there.
So we'll have more information on Monday as to
Great.
the details of that.
Okay, perfect. Well, it's good news nonetheless. I mean, that 11.9, that's a huge drop from last time we talked.
Exactly.
So that's excellent. Good news. Great. All right. Well, that is excellent news. What else do you got?
Vaccines. So I think the biggest one is, and we're really excited about it, and at the same time kind of, wow, this is going to be a big activity. So as you know, last weekend we were not able to get the Moderna vaccine because of shipments from around the United States and cold weather and all that. But we were able to get all of the last week's and this weekend's vaccination doses. So starting at 9 o'clock this morning and going until 4:30 this afternoon, we're going to do Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And basically our goal was to get 5,000 people vaccinated, the 2,500 from last weekend, the 2,500 from this weekend,
Right.
combining them all. We're using code red to notify everybody, so hopefully everybody's gotten their notification. You can go onto our website if you didn't, but based on information I received from staff, that they were contacting people, make sure that they got their code red, so it sounds like it's working well. So we're very excited, and all of the Memorial Care people are here. They've
Yep.
added some additional volunteers from their staffing to make sure that we get the doses in the arms. So we're real excited about that.
That's great. Are you still going to be traveling to the people's homes, the ones that you gave the first go around to?
If we had 68, 69 people, and so we'll follow up certainly with those people. And then again, we talked about potentially the waiting list. If there was anybody else on that that had notified us that they got missed or anything, we have that waiting list. And we're going to be working with Memorial Care after we get through our second doses.
Okay.
Focus is second dose, second
Right.
dose, second dose. You have a 2-week time frame from that 28 days with the Moderna to make sure that we get all of those second shots in the arms.
And you know what? It's a really good thing that they had Moderna, because I have heard from some of the other sites that they're not receiving as much Pfizer as they were originally. So who knows what the holdup is on that situation, but Moderna, thank goodness we were able to get those as quickly as we did. So.
Yeah, and it's a heavy lift, and I appreciate all of our volunteers from the community. And our staff, and Eileen leading the charge down there, and the staff that's working on it, and of course Memorial Care and all their volunteers and all their staff that are working the program. I can't thank them enough.
Man, a breath of sigh when this is all over, right? Can't be
Exactly.
soon enough, that's for sure. All right, well, thank you, and have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday with more info.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. And remember, if you would like more information about the vaccination program here in Laguna Woods, you can always go to Laguna Woods Village Alerts.com, and that is where you'll find all the latest information. Stay tuned, and we'll have some grocery tips for you.